Okay guys, so we'll have maybe one or two more videos, probably two, to finish off part 3, Burning Bright. We left off with Montag having killed Beatty, Beatty being the second thing that was burning bright in this third section. The first being Montag's house itself, and we talked about fire as a purifier and something that Montag is using to basically destroy his old identity. But after Beatty is killed, the mechanical hound shows up, and Montag has to battle with the mechanical hound as well before he's on the run. So we've got that battle here. The mechanical hound shows up. It's actually a pretty short battle, just this paragraph really on page 114. So it made a single leap, last leap into the air, coming down at Montag from a good 3 feet over his head, its spidered legs reaching the procaine needle, snapping out its single angry tooth. Montag caught it with a bloom of fire, a single wondrous blossom that curled its petals of yellow and blue and orange about the metal dog, clad it in a new covering as it slammed into Montag and threw him 10 feet back against the bole of a tree, taking the flame gun with him. Notice the description of fire here takes on a new kind of tone. It's a bloom of fire, a single wondrous blossom, and curled in petals of yellow and blue and orange about the lethal metal dog. So the hound, the mechanical hound, has this dark nature imagery like we talked about before, because it's spidery, and it's got this procaine needle that it pierces its victims with and puts drugs there to anesthetize them or whatever, make them unable to run away, put them to sleep almost. So the hound has that spider plus poison element. But notice how the hound is now overcome or conquered through positive nature imagery. So here it's the fire being described as flowers. Okay, so technology, we kind of have a recurrent theme of technology versus nature. And usually technology is kind of seen as bad, and nature is seen as good. It's not that simple, but it's often the case that nature is given that positive aspect. He felt it scrabble and seize his leg and stabbed the needle in for a moment before the fire snapped the hound into the air, burst its metal bones at the joint, and blew out its interior in the single flushing of red color like a skyrocket fastened to the street. Montag lay watching the dead alive thing fiddle the air and die. Even now it seemed to want to get back at him and finish the injection which was now working through the flesh of his leg. He felt all of the mingled relief and horror at having pulled back only in time to have just his knee slammed by the fender of a car hurtling by at 90 miles an hour. He was afraid to get up, afraid he might not be able to gain his feet at all with an anesthetized leg. Anesthetized. Yeah. A numbness in a numbness hollowed into a numbness. And now, street empty, the house burnt like an ancient bit of stage scenery. The other homes dark, the hound here, Beatty there, and 3 other firemen. Another place, and the salamander? He gazed at the immense engine. That would have to go too. Okay, so the hound is killed, and he is injured by the needle of the hound, but it just gets his leg, and then he actually gets smashed in the knee by this car going by and further injures him. So that's going to lead into a chase. The chase is publicized, broadcast rather, live on TV, and he's running with this injured leg. It's very difficult. And as we mentioned before, with entertainment, media, mass media, violent entertainment kind of games, sensationalism, and the fact that people like to watch these chases on live TV, and the government even calls on people to start looking for Montag. So all of that is going to be part of the chase kind of sequence. So we get the chase, we get live TV streaming, and we get kind of the citizens joining with the law enforcement to try to catch Montag. So the next section, we don't have to read it all, but it's basically the chase. And I want to skip to where Montag finally gets to Faber's house, because that's where he's headed. And he has to just keep pushing himself to get there. It's really agonizing pain. His life is in danger. And he does stop off, actually, on the way to Faber's on page 123. And remembering back to Montag and Faber's old plan, Montag makes a stop at this Mrs. Black's house, who is the wife of a firefighter. And there, he's going to plant some books. So he hid the books in the kitchen, moved from the house again to the alley, and looked back at the house. It was still dark and quiet, sleeping. So remembering Faber and Montag's plan, he kind of plants some books that he got from his house backyard on the way, and he's trying to set up some of the firemen. So that's just kind of an aside. But finally he does get to Faber's. I'm going to skip down to 125. And at Faber's, Faber is the one giving him guidance on where to go now. Says you better head for the river if you can, follow it along, and if you can hit the old railroad lines going out into the country, follow them. So this whole issue with the river is going to be very important. And also the fact that there's a war going on in the background, and the war is ramping up. Soon it's going to break out fully. So you got the chase going on, you got the government broadcasting Montag's chase to kind of distract people from the fact that an atomic war is about to kick in. And Faber is going to help Montag with direction on where to go, and the important symbol of the river is going to be one of the main symbols in this section. Here's my river. And we're going to see later Montag is going to have to get in that river and he's going to follow that river down out of the city. So Montag is going to be moving away from the city. All right, there's my city. So keep your eye on this symbol. It's going to be important, the symbol of the river. And what does Faber tell him to do? Head for the river and follow the river. Skipping down a bit now to the next page. There is the media coverage of the chase, which is constantly being blasted. So they hear it from the TV set. Montag, the name was spelled out by the voice. Guy Montag, still running. Police helicopters are up. A new mechanical hound has been brought from another district. So although he defeated the first mechanical hound, they're bringing in a second from another district. And they're saying, mechanical hound never fails. Never since its first use in tracking quarry has this incredible invention made a mistake. Tonight, this network is proud to have the opportunity to follow the hound by camera helicopter as it starts on its way to the target. Faber poured 2 glasses of whiskey. We'll need these. So we're going to see what happens next in the next video.